Okay, welcome to Arise and Shine, and with me here is a very special person from the United States of America. She traveled all the way just to come to a little known country, still developing, still emerging. We are still looking out for ideas, and I'm glad to welcome her right now on Arise and Shine. Lynette Louise, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so warm.
Okay, so you keep mentioning that my hands are warm, so I'm going to tell you something.
Yes.
When the therapy that I use for helping brains to develop, one of the things that you do is you check hand temperature.
Oh, that
right?
is part of your technique.
It's one of the ways of testing. So if I feel somebody's hands and their hands are cold, especially someone who can't talk, so I'm not able to ask how you feel, then I go,
tell.
oh, they're nervous.
So you can tell from the
They're
hands.
anxious. So I am less nervous than you.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Well, you're welcome to Arise and Shine. We shall see who is nervous at the end of the day. Yes, you came all the way from the US, and you came particularly to deal with a condition called autism.
Yes.
And I think there are people right now who are watching, and they don't know what autism is, and maybe you're the only person who knows it. And this is a very little well-researched in here in Africa. What really is autism? What really is autism?
Okay, so autism is a genetic disorder. So it's caused by you having something in your genes, genes being the way that you're made and I'm made, and if we get together and have a baby, we share our height, our color, we get a half-caste child, these are our genes mixing together. And through the years, different disorders, like someone might have a problem focusing, another person might have a problem feeling happy and keeping their mood stable. And if they get together and make a baby, sometimes these things come together and you create a child who has bigger problems than the parents had or the relatives. These are your genes. Now, when this happens, you can have a problem in your brain that makes it so that you have difficulty with communication. So you maybe can talk, but you don't make sense. Or you can't talk at all. Or...
Now, those are some of the symptoms you're talking about, isn't it? Signs and symptoms of someone who is...
First I was talking about how, what causes it. Like, it comes from your body. Because I have heard that there are people, that think it's from witchcraft or think it's from...
Exactly. And here in Uganda, that's the same situation, because people think either you have been bewitched, or it's someone maybe did something wrong in your family, or you disobeyed a certain order from your elders or something like that.
No, it's truly from, the man's body was built from his parents, and there were little problems, and then the mother's from her parents, and there were little problems, and it grows and grows and grows. And then you have a child, and they have bigger problems. And their brain is then set to easily be affected by the environment. So pollution or medicines or illness, or so many things can trigger it, much like cancer in a way.
So now, does that mean that someone, it can be transferred, maybe if let's say your granddad had it, your grandmom had it can be transferred genetically?
That's what I'm saying, yes. Okay, so it comes down, it's definitely understood that there's a relationship with the family and with the genes, and genetically it's passed down. If you have twins, they do twin studies, so that's one of the ways they discover this. And so if you have twins, if you have one that has autism, most likely the other one will as well. Now, sometimes not. And once you have one autistic child in a family, you might have many. But I didn't answer your question.
Yes.
So, communication problem. Any kind of communication problem. They might even speak really well, but only want to talk about one thing all the time.
Yes.
Like, I love tables. Tables are great. Tables are awesome. Tables are hard. They'll just go on and on about the same subject, and it'll be silly, right? And you're like, oh, okay.
They keep repeating the same thing.
Yes. So that's another thing. They do the same thing over and over again. The girl I was playing with here, she wanted...
in Uganda.
Yeah, here in Uganda. She wanted to take cards and over again, just put them down and then pick them up. And then put them down and then pick them up. And she would just get stuck in this activity. So that has to happen. And then you have to have problems making friends, difficulty dealing with conversation and sharing and your turn, my turn. And so people have trouble playing with you, and then they end up rejected by the other children.
In the US, I think for you, you are much better off because you have facilities, professors have done research. In Uganda, we still lack that. And what do you think would be the way forward for a country like Uganda? Because right now, for us, even we can't even tell that even this person is autistic. They're under this condition. Sometimes even parents might even say that maybe there's a mental disorder, and they may just abandon the person, lock them up in a room,
Right.
just
right.
like that.
Okay, so first of all, that happens everywhere. Everywhere people get overwhelmed by their children, even in America. So worldwide, that's an issue. Yes, we have more services. Yes, we have more research, and that's why I've brought what I know to you, because I want to share that. But as you move forward, maybe you should not make the mistakes we made. So one of the mistakes, for example, is all the processed food that we eat. Since I've been in Uganda, I have felt healthier than I feel in America.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
What food was that you've been eating?
Matoka?
Matoke.
But it's not just
Yes.
that. You know, it's your
It's
air.
matoke. It's not toke. It's
Okay.
matoke.
What's the satio or whatever? I don't know. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yes, you will.
Okay. So in our country, we have gotten too advanced. We've made too many processed meals, too many packaged things with chemicals in them, and all of these cause problems for your health, and they affect your genetic makeup. So as you move forward and you take what we know to help your children, and one of the things that I work with is neurofeedback. I work with play. I teach all kinds of things.
That is the technique you use.
Right.
Yeah, because I want people to follow us. Because right now, where you've reached right now, you're talking about the technique you use as Lynette Louise.
Right.
Did you discover it just by yourself,
No.
or someone had?
I'm so smart. No.
You did. Someone had discovered it before.
Neurofeedback is actually biofeedback for the brain. Biofeedback's been around for a long, long time. Biofeedback means giving a person information about their body that they couldn't access on their own. So when the doctor's listening to your heart, if he lets you see or hear the beating of your heart, which you normally can't hear, you now have information about your body. And you can actually slow your heart or speed your heart up by knowing that information. So biofeedback for the brain is similar. I put sensors on the head, and with the sensors on the head, I look at the brainwave activity on a computer screen. Right?
Then you can tell whether someone's autism is a little bit higher or it's lower. Or
I wish that were true.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's a little more complicated, but I can tell by looking at their behavior, by seeing, where their problems are. If I touch them, do they pull away or do they push in? Lots of little tests. And then when I put it on and I look at the brain waves, I can tell if they have too much of a particular type of brain wave or too little in a certain spot. So maybe I put it here and they have too much of a particular type, and then I put the sensor here and they have too much of a different type. I use the computer to tell the brain to change that. I don't put anything in.
You use the computer to tell the brain to change what you want it to change.
Right.
Then the child begins adjusting
Right.
towards normality.
Right.
Ah,
Right. Just
okay.
like the child adjusts if I say yes or no. So the child comes and they go to grab
How long
this.
how long does that take? How long can that take? If let's say like maybe there's someone who's watching and they wanted to use that exact technique, they have an autistic child, they wanted to use that exact technique of neurosurgeons so that you could be able to help the child move to a season of normality. How long does that take? Can that take a week, a month? Yes.
Okay, so first you have to understand that autism is a big spectrum. You can have somebody who's very poorly functioning in the way they move, the way they talk, the activities they do. You can have someone who's pretty close to normal already, but just talking about the same subject over and over again. Maybe avoiding eye contact, but mostly doing well. You can't compare these two children. How long it will take for this child and how long it will take for this child is extremely different. And it's really important to understand that. You can't just say, oh, in 5 days, an autistic child is going to get better in a month, in 2 months, because it depends. Where did you start in this problem? How difficult is it?